Nerd reactor, roll out.
What's up, Reactorites? John here, and it's time to talk about F9, the latest entry into the Fast and Furious franchise. It's a doozy. It takes things a step further. You know, Vin Diesel, he's back as Dom, as part of the Toretto family, and in this film, we're introduced to his long-lost brother, played by John Cena. That's going to be like the main thing for the story element, where he's going to try to find out what his brother's up to and maybe try to reconnect with him or try to take him down because he's a rival. But yeah, the movie F9, it's silly, it's ridiculous. And, you know, there are movies where people say, turn off your brain. This is that movie. This is the one. There are so many things that happens in this movie where if you're really trying to think about how unrealistic things are, don't even try. Just check your brain at the door and just accept what you're seeing is a cartoon movie come to life. This is like Bugs Bunny. This is the Wile E. Coyote trying to get the Roadrunner. So just slap yourself. Stop. Just because the franchise has gone off the deep end. It is, you know, the shark has jumped, and now the shark is in outer space. So as for the characters, you know, they're all back, and they're fun to watch. Seeing Vin Diesel back, seeing characters back like Han, and this is kind of like the Avengers of the Fast and Furious movies, because Justin Lin, he has brought in a lot of the characters from the past films, a lot. And I'm not going to reveal who the characters are because I want that to be a surprise for when you watch it. But it's like a guilty pleasure. And when they bring him back, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. They're back. He's back. And sometimes like the reason for it doesn't make sense at all. And when they try to explain it, you're still left with more questions. Like, wait a minute, they kind of explained it, but you're still wondering, how did that happen? But yeah, once again, it's, you know, cut open your head, toss your brain out, don't even think about it. Just accept the movie for what it is and that it happened. And it's the ridiculousness, the silliness. It is, they're just always trying to top each other. So now we have cars, like a car swinging on a vine, kind of like Indiana Jones. And we have a car going into outer space. So they're just trying to think of whatever ways to make a car do something. The next thing I imagine for F10 is sending a car into some kind of a wormhole where they're actually going into an alternate universe. That's what I'm thinking F10 is going to be. Because that's what it feels like right now. The filmmakers know like the franchise is getting sillier, and they even acknowledge that with characters like Tyrese's character, where he makes fun of like what's happening in the movie, like how they're invincible and how in the movies a lot of these dangerous things are happening to them, but they always come out with no scars or anything, and they're like just perfectly fine. If you learn to accept that about the series, then I think you're going to go in for a good time. But if you still like the old school stuff, like the Fast and Furious, like the first one, where it's more down to earth, it's more about street racing, none of this larger than life stuff. If you're still holding on to that, you're going to be very disappointed. But I'm not sure if you're going to expect that. There are fans that still want that, but if you're expecting that with these newer films, just stop. It's not going to happen. And yeah, the movie's making too much money for them to just tone things down again, because they want to up the ante and make this a huge property. You go to Universal Studios, you see the Fast and Furious 3D experience on the tram ride. It's crazy. It's silly. I'm not a fan of that one because I'm not a fan of the tunnel in 3D because I did that with King Kong before. But if it was like actual props, sets, I would like that better than like a 3D screen in a tunnel. But as a movie that is just fully aware of how crazy it is, how silly it is, Still not my favorite of the series. Just I'm like torn. I'm like 50-50 kind of, where I still want things to make sense and I still want things to be toned down because they just keep going, and I'm like they're going further and further away, and I'm just kind of like just standing there and just watching things like it's just wow, they've really have gone off the gone off the deep end. I was talking about the story between John Cena's character and Vin Diesel. That one I think is unintentionally funny because there's this whole brother dynamic where they've felt they've been wronged, and there are certain scenes, you know, like Dom has family and John Cena is kind of like an outcast now, so he sees this family that Vin Diesel has, and there are shots where it closes in on John Cena's face as if he wants to belong. And just the way it was shot, it was presented, I thought it was funny. Like, you know, let's say in real life where, you know, you feel like you're left out, sad moment. But just the way the film shot it with John Cena's face, I couldn't take it seriously. And I think in the movie, I think the main thing that I was very concerned about was just the mayhem and the carnage, where I feel like these characters, even though they're trying to save the world, you know, Fast and Furious has become a franchise about saving the world now. I felt uneasy because a lot of the car has been wrecked, and I feel like they could be accidentally killing a lot of people, especially with the stuff they're pulling off the stunts. And every time I see like cars being rammed and then just being demolished like on the side streets, I'm like, wait, what if someone's sleeping in the car, you know, just trying to take a nap? And because I do that, like when I'm tired, I would just, if I don't have like a place nearby, I would just sleep in the car. And I imagine myself being in that car, just taking a nap, and all of a sudden a car just runs by and just rams into me or just causes the car to explode, and I'm like dying inside of it. So I'm like, yeah, these they should be watching out. That's my fear, you know. Now that when I'm like in real life trying to sleep in a car, I'm afraid that Dom's gonna just ram into my car and cause it to explode as he's trying to save the world. So overall, it's just crazy. It's silly, and this is the movie to check your brain at the door. This is it. If you can't do that, you're gonna have a lot of questions. You're gonna be just thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is crazy." So those are my thoughts on the movie. With that said, let me know what your thoughts are when the movie comes out on the comments below. I'm John, and I'll see you guys next time.